which NFL divisions are the best and which ones are the worst. As we head into the 2025 season, we are going to rank every NFL division, first to worst, massive hit to dog shit, great to, well, you know. Which divisions are juggernauts, and which ones barely deserve to have playoff teams? Let's go through and power rank every NFL division. At number 8, the AFC South. Even with the top 2 NFL draft picks going to this division, the AFC South still takes the cake as the worst division in football. At the top, we've got the Texans, who have a strong offense and a good defense, but their offensive line has a lot of question marks, especially after they traded Laramie Tunsil. The Colts, Jags, and Titans, until further notice, are cheeks. Because all 3 teams are dealing with a lot of uncertainty. The Colts haven't even settled on their starting quarterback for 2025, and one of their options is Daniel Jones. The Jaguars are, at best, an intriguing startup company, and they could possibly finish second if the Colts have to settle for Anthony Richardson. The Titans, they're basically starting over, so no one expects them to compete. With the expectation that those 3 teams are likely going to be competing for the cellar, we have no choice but to put the AFC South in dead last when ranking the NFL divisions. At number 7, the NFC South. 7 and 8 could really go either way, but the NFC South has just a few more teams that have a little bit more momentum. Tampa seems to be at the top, because they have a high-flying offense and a defense that can remain competent as long as their hamstrings also remain competent. The Falcons and Panthers are in the middle of the pack, and they have to rely on their young ascending quarterbacks if they possibly want to rise to the top of mountain. The 4th team? Well, my goodness, there is no team I envy less than the New Orleans Saints. There is almost no team I envy less than the New Orleans Saints. They have to rebuild almost completely as they have an aging roster and a lack of offensive identity, and those factors will likely lead to them being one of the worst teams in the NFL this season. No team in the NFC South blows me away, which is why they are ranked as the 2nd worst division in the NFL. At number 6, the AFC East. As long as Josh Allen is healthy, the Bills will run the out of this division. That's not to say the Patriots aren't an ascending team. They realize they have a solid franchise quarterback from last year's draft in Drake May, and they build around him by stealing Robert Kraft's wallet and going on a shopping spree. The Dolphins and Jets, on the other hand, they seem to be regressing. The days of the high-flying Dolphins offense may be behind them as Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are coming off of down years. The team as a whole, they struggle to beat, well, even anybody good. The Jets, well, their highlight from the offseason is signing the best quarterback in Ohio State history, and that being Justin Fields when he doesn't throw. The AFC East has their good teams and their declining teams, which justifies their ranking as the 3rd worst division in football. At number 5, the NFC West. The NFC West is just average. Nothing eye-popping, but nothing awful. They're just kinda there. The Rams and the 49ers have enough gusto on both sides of the ball to stay competitive, but considering the 49ers have to rebuild on defense a little bit, they might struggle. The Seahawks, on the other hand, signed Sam Darnold, but forgot to build the one thing that made Sam Darnold effective. The Cardinals, they're just kind of mid until further notice. They rebuilt their pass rush and have only so much time to make Kyler Murray fun before he decides that the Athletics are a more exciting career path. The NFC West isn't terribly threatening, but it isn't awful either. It's why they are ranked at number 5. Before I give the top 4 divisions their stars, if you haven't already, hit that sexy little subscribe button. I film long-form content, short-form content, handsome content, everything in between. You know what the deal is. You're all awesome. But back to the rankings. At number 4, the AFC North. The AFC North will perennially be a tough division, but the teams at the bottom are going through some shit. The Ravens and half of the Bengals remain among the NFL's best teams, and they will be competing for the top of the division and potentially the AFC. The Ravens are led by Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry on offense, and on defense by Kyle Hamilton. The Bengals' offense is led by Burrow, Chase, and T. Higgins, and the Bengals' defense is led by contract disputes. But the reason this division ranks lower is because the Browns finally return to reality. In addition, the Steelers have to limp through the Aaron Rodgers tenure for at least the next season. That is, until Will Howard can develop enough to become the next Doc Hodges. The combination of competitive teams and other teams that are merely dragging along justify this division being ranked 4th best. At number 3, the AFC West. The AFC West feels evenly matched, and it would be even more evenly matched if the Raiders could clone Ashton Genty 10 times. As of now, the AFC West is currently the Chiefs' division to lose, and losing it might not be as unrealistic as you might think. The Chiefs relied on winning close games to rise to the top last season, but they watched as the teams around them got better. The Chargers are currently relying on the spirit of Jim Harbaugh, and they ascended in 2024 thanks to an efficient offense and the lowest scoring defense in the NFL. The Broncos, on the other hand, escaped the Russell Wilson fiasco about as unscathed as they possibly could have, and now they are once again on the rise. The Raiders, on the other hand, well, they're going to get their surprise win against the Chiefs, so bear with them as they rebuild. The AFC West could be a division that once again has 3 teams in the playoffs, and there's a very real possibility that the Chiefs' reign as AFC West Dynamos doesn't last too much longer. Thank you. Swifties Inc. is suing me for blasphemy? At number 2, the NFC East.
Yeah, how about them Cowboys?
I very quickly regret this. It's primarily because of the 2 teams at the top. The Eagles and Commanders were impeccable in 2024, and they won't be slowing down anytime soon. If your division features 2 teams that faced each other in the conference title game, it doesn't get much better than that. The Eagles have the 2024 Offensive Player of the Year and 2025 Madden cover athlete who spent an entire season making the Giants fan base cry. Oh yeah, and their signature play is somehow still legal. Not that one! That one. The Commanders are right behind them with their superstar quarterback, improved offensive line, and rising defense. If everything goes right, there is no reason why the Commanders can't make a Super Bowl and give Dan Snyder a reason to set his mansion on fire. The Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
Stop it! He'll be fine. I know you guys got super pumped when you traded for Wish.com Dez Bryant, but you're not ending your streak of 29 straight seasons without a conference title appearance. Just hover around 500 and allow your primetime schedule to give you a heightened sense of self-importance, okay? The Giants? Well, they got some new pieces and they're in the middle of a rebuild. The top of the division is as strong as it gets, but a lack of top to bottom strength justify a number 2 ranking. And at number 1, the NFC North. The NFC North is a lot like moving back in with your parents. Sure, it's tough and humbling, but even if you end the year in the basement, you're probably still going to be doing alright. Proof that it's tough? The Minnesota Vikings became the first team in NFL history to win 14 games, but not their division. That's because the Detroit Lions played through the spirit of Dan Campbell's to win an astounding 15 games. The Lions offense, led by whichever player has their name drawn out of a hat before any given play, led the NFL in points with 564 in 2024. Minnesota, on the other hand, has built a proper system around J.J. McCarthy, and they also have an underrated defense. But I expect them to regress from their 2024 season where they really overachieved from a record standpoint. Chicago and Green Bay have talented rosters, with Chicago quickly building their offensive identity. But they may not have enough top-tier talent to supplant the top 2 teams. That said, the lack of a true seller team and the strength of the teams at the top justify a number 1 ranking for the NFC North. And that'll do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll have plenty more previews as the days go on and we get closer to the season. And stay tuned for more sports content that you didn't ask for.